Hamill and Jameson, introducing episode 1 of the Donald J. Trump Show.
Look, I want to thank you for joining me on a brand new episode of the Donald Trump Show. That's right. We're going to be here every week delivering truth about the Biden campaign because no one's telling you what's really going on. I'm going to pull back the curtain and you're going to see what Joe Biden is really up to. Here we go.
We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts.
Will somebody please alert Mr. Biden that truth and facts are the same thing? I think he's been watching too much fake news on CNN. Okay, what else do we have from this blubbering train wreck?
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other Biden. Give me a look, though, okay?
Now, first of all, who's the other Biden? Who is the other Biden? I'm wondering because if it's Hunter Biden, he'll be in jail. But if there's another Biden, perhaps he can actually complete a sentence. That Biden I'd like to hear from. Okay, let's see what else we've got.
Trust.
Like his strange hold on Defense Secretary Ash Carter's wife, Stephanie.
Sleep Sofa Joe has been doing this for years. He's a creeper. And we're going to put a stop to him.
I like the way your hair smells. Let me give you a little kiss here.
And can you believe? Look at how he's touching that little girl. Honestly, I'm a little worried about that little girl. Sleep Sofa Joe has been doing all kinds of racist things for years. I'm just going to show you a few of the clips. Take a look at this one, for example.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Look, I'm surprised you guys are fine with hearing Joe Biden say you need an Indian accent in order to go to Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, I've been to Dunkin' Donuts many times. I don't have an Indian accent. But let's continue on. I have a lot more to play for you. Now check out this clip, for example.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Racist Joe strikes again. Poor kids are just as talented and bright as white kids? What does that even mean? This is getting good, guys. What's next?
Play the radio. Make sure make sure you have the record player on at night.
Really, Joe? That's a good idea. We'll get the record player out. How about we go and actually light a fire and we do smoke signals? How about that? What do we have next from Sleep Sofa Joe?
Think about it. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
The question is, do you know the thing, Joe? Do you know the thing, Sleep Sofa Joe? The thing, Joe, is that we are all created equal. That's right. God is the creator of all, not Satan and your adrenochrome. Okay, let's get one more at least. How about one more?
I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
Did Sleep Sofa Joe just say he has to go do a poop-a-doop? I think he said it right in front of his crowd. I would never say that right in front of my crowd. If I'm going to take a poop-a-doop, I'm doing it on my own time, not in front of people. I don't know. It's a little weird there. Look, let's give him a chance to redeem himself. One more, okay?
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Wow. Really? Look, I'm not sure what else to say after watching that ridiculousness. But that's Sleep Sofa Joe. Are you going to vote for that guy? How about you? Look, if that's the case, this world's crazy.
It's Hamill and Jameson introducing Donald Trump for episode 2 of the Trump Show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining me on episode 2 of the Donald Trump Show. We're going to continue digging deeper into Joe Biden, his mental state, and whether or not he falls asleep on camera. So let's get into it. Here's a couple of clips from earlier today. We're going to get into it now. Here we go.
Campaigning from home about Biden hiding in his cellar. Well, the truth of the matter is over 200 million people have watched me on television, and they've watched, and the more of that,
No, keep going, Joe. You're doing great. Doing fantastic, yes. No, we're really thrilled. I'm sure 200 million people really enjoyed watching the sleep sofa. Look, I could take a nap on my own sleep sofa. I don't need to watch you while I do it, unless they were trying to fall asleep quicker. Maybe instead of reading, they said, well, if I watch Biden, I could fall right to sleep. Okay, let's see what's next.
I've been down to Virginia. I've been around the country, but I do it responsibly and I don't hold rallies because it is the reason why we're in such trouble by not listening to the experts and the scientists about social distancing and wearing masks, which I never do when I walk outside of this house.
Wait, let me get this straight. So the scientists and doctors tell us to wear masks, but the moment you leave the house, you don't wear your mask? Sleep sofa, I'm pulling a little fake news on you right now. Just check the real footage.
And wearing masks, which I never do when I walk outside of this house. I never fail to do.
See? And Trump will play it for you because I think you still look like an idiot. Okay, what else we got?
That's who we are. That's how my great-great-grandfather, four greats back got here. He got in a coffin ship in the Irish Sea, never knowing whether he was going to make it. And he made it to the United States of America in 1848 when the British were, anyway.
The British were coming. Look, it's like Paul Revere. No, finish it up, Joe. What were you saying? When the British were coming? Is that your grandfather was part of the crew? Is your grandfather a redcoat? What are we talking about here? I'm trying to figure out what the hell Joe is talking about. My grandfather, and when the British, he said, and then he stopped himself. I think he was about to say when the British were coming. Anyway, look, as long as Joe continues to stay in his basement and he won't debate me, I'm going to have the Trump show continue. So till tomorrow, have a good night.
It's Hammerl and Jameson, Donald J. Trump back with episode 3 of The Trump Show.
I want to thank you for joining me on episode 3 of the Donald J. Trump Show. Today, we talk about poison. That's right, don't drink the poison. It's going to kill many people more than coronavirus. Yeah, poison. That's right, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, I'm sorry, some people don't know that we do call her poison. Let's take a look at this clip here. I want you to hear what she has to say.
You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear.
Let's be honest, Nancy, you know nothing about politics. And wrap-up smear? Really? That's what you've been doing to me? Sounds like something you got from your OBGYN. But whatever.
You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it.
I'm sorry, Nancy, can you say that one more time? What was that?
You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it.
Look, she's creating fake news. She told the reporters, you create a story. Let's get back to this clip.
And then you write it.
Can you freaking believe this?
Unless they see it's reported in the press that this, and this, so they have that validation that the press reported the smear.
You write the story after we report the falsehoods, and it becomes a validated story by the news, by you, the fake news garbage.
It's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report.
Also, when she says merchandising it, who is she, Mel Brooks from Spaceballs? Spaceballs the flamethrower. Yeah, okay, poison, whatever.
Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic. And it's self-evident.
You see there, she says it's self-evident because we've been doing it to Trump since he came down the escalator. Well, I have to tell you that I'm happy that I found out about this poison. Now I could put all of my efforts towards taking you down to Chinatown. That's right, we will drain poison and Schumer from the swamp.
It's Hammerl and Jameson back with episode 4 of the Donald Trump Show.
Thank you very much for joining me for episode 4 of the Donald Trump Show. Tonight, we get back into Sleep Sofa Joe. Look, we've got a lot of clips to get through, so let's get started.
I'm coming directly to you for ask a quick favor.
I can't believe they use this as their pitch on YouTube. I mean, I've come for you to... It sounds like something out of Close Encounters of a Third Kind. Sleep Sofa, are you from a different planet? I'm trying to figure out what the hell it is that comes out of your mouth. Sounds like gobbledygook.
I can hardly wait to debate him on stage. I want people to see me standing next to him and him standing next to me. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. Thanks for your time. Please come back in less than 13 years, sir.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris. No, I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back-to-back. Anyway.
Sleepy, hello? It's not Chuck, okay? But you have a problem with back-to-back meetings? How do you think you're going to do back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back when you're president? Look, he's gonna have to take a poop-a-doop in between, remember?
Why doesn't he just act like a president? That's a stupid way to say it.
You know, Donald Trump was asked on...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I probably best I don't.
You know, I feel kind of bad for Sleep Sofa. I mean, he looks like he's going to cry. He's like an old puppy dog whining for a bowl of milk. Look, Sleep Sofa, I'm sorry. You know, you have to act confidently if you're going to be president of the United States.
I tell you what, I'm so darn proud. And those poor people who have lost, anyway.
This is your brain on drugs. That's right. Any questions?
I would see to it immediately moving toward, we're in fact in a position now that if in fact we dealt with mitigation across the board, just what we did in the last administration and before, leading to a standard that we provide efficiency for appliances.
Have you ever seen that scene in Scanners? It's kind of reminds me, I wonder if they're going to do, you know how they keep doing, oh, we're doing Jaws over. You think they'll do Scanners over and maybe have Sleep Sofa Joe in his, one of the lead characters? I would watch that, even though he makes me want to fall asleep.
I'm ready on day one after more than 3 years in office. Why isn't Donald Trump ready? Mr. President, wake up.
Can you believe that? Did he really just say for me to wake up? Is this Pinocchio and Geppetto is in the background pulling strings? Because it doesn't even look like he's alive. I feel so bad for this guy. I'm going to demolish him when we get into a debate. I mean, honestly, he doesn't even know who the hell he is. And you guys are going to vote for this guy? He's up by how many points? I mean, what the? He can't even speak, people. He said he's going to beat himself. Did you see that one? This is Sleep Sofa Joe saying how he's going to beat himself.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
Well, let's hear that one more time. Joe, can you do that one more time for us?
I'm going to beat Joe Biden. I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
Look, I think that's a good place for us to call it a day. He's going to beat himself. I guess I should just hang back and maybe let him fall on the sword. He may walk outside to get the mail and forget to put his pantalones on. Could be a problem. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow on the next Trump show. That's right. Have a good night.
It's Hammerl and Jameson live from Mount Rushmore. Donald Trump for episode 5 of the Trump Show.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me here at the monuments. Look, this is a very exciting time. I started my own talk show this week. That's right, the Donald J. Trump Show. We're winning big league. We're dropping lots of content about Sleep Sofa Joe Biden. Lots about Sleep Sofa. We also did one episode about Poison so far. And we're going to continue to drop positive content about Sleep Sofa Joe Biden. Because I will not let him beat me now. We have done too much work here in this country. Are you guys ready to stick a fork in Biden? Are you ready?
I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden.
I don't know what to say. I'm a little confused. Could you tell me, what does that mean, Joe? You're married? I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden. I don't know. So, are you going to be your own first lady? Or what does that mean, Joe? Could you please elaborate? I'm Melania Trump's husband, Donald Trump. I'm not really sure, so Joe's married to himself? Just going to give you the one for today. That's enough to squash the Sleep Sofa. Look, he's comfortable to lie on, just not to vote for. We don't have to trash the man while we're here at the National Monument. He's just a sleep sofa. Look, if you can't catch the Donald Trump Show, make sure you tune in to Real Talk. You see, my kids, Melania, they all love Real Talk. Well, we give it to people straight on the Real Talk program, and it kind of gave me the concept for the Donald Trump Show. So tune in. Every night I'll be on either my show or the Real Talk Show. I'm going to drop content for you because the fake news is not letting the Trumper breathe. That's right. It's trying to shut down the Trump. Look at that beautiful monument. They're going to put my face right next to George Washington there. Perfect spot. They're going to have my tie. It's going to go all the way down to the ground. So Democrats will hit their faces on it every time they walk by.
It's Haverl and Jameson live from the studio. Donald J. Trump joins us from Washington, D.C.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me on episode 6 of the Donald Trump Show. That's right, I'm here in Washington. Sometimes people think it looks like the Epcot Center. No, the Pope is not back in that building. It's Donald Trump's home. In the process of fixing the dome. I think it's about time we get back to Sleep Sofa Joe. Sometimes we call him Bumbling Biden. I'm not sure what I feel like calling him today. Let's see what Bumbling Biden has to say. I just love them both. I just love Sleep Sofa Joe. He's a bumbling Biden sleeping on the sofa. So, let's see what we've got today.
I propose, and I'm going to digress slightly. We're in a situation.
Every time I think to myself, well, there's no way it could get any worse, they show me another clip. This is Sleep Sofa Joe, bumbling Biden. Take a look, people.
Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth. $1.4 trillion worth.
Well, which is it, Joe?
Out of $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it, it's so much.
Really? Joe, you want me to get a calculator for you? Here, why don't you use this calculator, see what you come up with.
It's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years.
740 billion. Wow, Joe. That's a phenomenal amount of money. Do you want that in Monopoly dollars?
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight.
Well, Joe, if it's a matter of dialing 30330 in order to help you fight the battle against Alzheimer's, I'm in. Okay, what else we got?
And they'd say to you, take my shotgun. I said, I have 3. I now have 5 because my son died and I have 3 of his. I have 5 shotguns.
Oh, so close, Joe. So close. 3 plus 3. So close, you did not form it as a question. It's also not 6.
I know I'm called middle class, Joe. It's not meant as a compliment, means I'm not sophisticated.
I'm sorry, Sleep Sofa. I hadn't heard that one. Middle class Joe. I've heard Creepy Joe. I've heard Bumbling Biden. I've heard Sleep Sofa Joe, Sleepy Joe. I've heard about a terrible cup of Joe. It's more like out of gas Joe.
Hammerlin Jameson, live from the studio. Donald Trump joins us for the 7th episode of The Donald Trump Show.
Thank you very much for joining me on episode 7 of The Donald Trump Show. We're going to get right into it today. I've got a lot more on Sleep Sofa Joe. That's right, we're calling him Bumbling Biden as well now. So let's get into it. What do we got? First clip of the show.
You gotta, I mean, we gotta reassure. Look, here, my message to everybody I talk to is we're gonna get through this.
Are you sure, Joe? It looks like you can't even get through a sentence.
We provide a Medicare option. That's exactly what Rap Rock and I talked about in the beginning.
I'm sorry, did he just call Barack Rap Rock? I didn't realize he had a pet name for Barack Obama. Hey, Rap Rock, let's get together and go and talk about that foreign policy. Hey, Rap Rock, you want to get together and play some basketball? Hey, Rap Rock, could you make me a PB&J? Absolutely hilarious.
I made a mistake. I said it 14 years ago. I trusted George Bush to keep his word. He said he was not going to go into Iraq.
This is when it gets really interesting. You ready?
Only way we're going to get rid of Saddam Hussein. And it's going to require guys like you in uniform to be back on foot in the desert taking taking Saddam down.
Wait, I'm sorry, but didn't you just say that you were against the war, Sleep Sofa? I think he's losing his memory again.
From the moment shock and awe started, from that moment, I was opposed to the effort and I was outspoken.
Let's take a look at Outspoken Joe. It's maybe his news. Maybe we'll call him Outspoken Joe if it's good. Let's see.
Some of my own party have said that it was a mistake to go to Iraq in the first place. But the cost of not acting against Saddam, I think, would have been much greater. The President of the United States is a bold leader, and he is popular.
No, after that clip, that's it. We're going to call him Backtrack Biden. That's right. He backtracks. He said that he didn't support the war, that he's talking about George Bush like they're best friends. I'm not sure what's true with Sleep Sofa Joe.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes. And we changed attitudes.
When I was about the age of the guy standing over there, I got involved in the civil rights movement.
And now, the truth.
I was not an activist. I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else.
Okay, so basically, Sleep Sofa Joe never did any actual protesting, although he's been campaigning on it for his entire career.
The first year in law school, I decided I didn't want to be in law school and ended up in the bottom 2/3 of my class, and then decided I wanted to stay, went back to law school, and in fact ended up in the top half of my class.
Look, I really want you to pay attention to the detail in this video right here.
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect.
I'm pretty sure that your IQ is a moving number, Sleep Sofa.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship.
So let's get to the truth.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
And in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I won the International Moot Court competition. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only need 123 credits, and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
If I could say one thing.
Look, the facts are Sleep Sofa Joe was a terrible student.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class.
He didn't?
That he does not have 3 degrees from college.
He doesn't?
And that he was not named Outstanding Political Science Student in college.
Really?
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't stop laughing. Back then, I guess they didn't fact check you in real time. That must have been a couple weeks later. So funny.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
Sleep Sofa Joe makes up things. Bumbling Biden. Did you hear him bumble there? He's a bumbler. Bumbling Biden strikes again.
Live in the studio, it's Hammerlin Jameson. We're back with another episode of The Donald Trump Show.
Thank you very much for joining me for episode 8 of The Donald Trump Show. That's right, we're cooking along here. Today we're here to talk about Joe Sleep Sofa, Bumbling Biden. We've been kind of going through his exploits over the years. What has he done? Has he done anything at all? You know, one of the problems we have today is overpopulated prisons. That's right. And it all started with Joe Biden. I'm going to show you how we are where we are right now. Let's roll the tape.
It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth.
Look, he's talking about inner cities, black communities, minorities, and they all vote for him still. I don't get it. He doesn't want you to advance. He wants you to stay down, so you need the sleep sofa. You don't need a nap on the sleep sofa.
It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society.
I'm starting to see a little of the bumbling Biden taking place. This is all the way back in like the 90s.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society.
Wait, bumbling sleep sofa. I thought that being the victim was your platform. Now all of a sudden it doesn't matter if they're the victims of society.
The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe.
Ouch.
Shoot my sister.
Look out.
Beat up my wife.
Let's be honest, Sleep Sofa. That one's you when you open up the bottle of Irish whiskey. Seems a bit odd that all of Joe's family's being attacked in the streets.
They must be taken off the street.
The whole point of the bill was to keep people down, so they feel like they always need help. They don't teach people how to fish, they give them the fish.
Tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision.
When was this filmed? Yesterday?
Without any structure, without any conscience developing.
Definitely filmed in the last couple weeks. And he's talking about Antifa, right?
They literally have not been socialized.
Isn't he talking about Antifa?
They literally have not had an opportunity.
So let me get this straight. Instead of providing opportunities, you just decided to lock everybody up.
We should focus on them now.
Classic. Really? Sleep Sofa Joe is talking about fixing the problems, never fixed the problems. He had 8 years in office, and it's been almost 30 years, and they've done nothing since then.
If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now.
Predators? Is that like a follow-up to the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
I wonder if that's where Chris Hansen got his start.
Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them.
It sounds like only Biden's life matters.
And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Can't you see? Every 2 years, he panders for a vote, and he's the guy who put them all in jail.
But they are in jail, away from my mother.
Sleep Sofa, do I detect an Oedipal complex?
Your husband, our families.
Divide and conquer. It's the Democrat way. Sleep Sofa Joe Biden has been telling people one thing for years and doing the opposite. Just remember, and tune back in tomorrow on the next Donald Trump show. Have a good night.
Thanks for helping us keep the theater clean. As you exit the auditorium, please deposit litter in trash receptacles in the lobby.